Summer Morning. Written by SharpeBB and read by Goombasa. TK woke up as he breathed in the cherry blossom odor he had grown familiarized to over the past 3 weeks. It had been somewhat jarring the first couple of days, but now he loved the sensation. Not only was it a much more enjoyable smell than the stale sweat that normally occupied his bedroom, but it also served as a daily reminder of how happy he was. Slowly, TK opened his eyes, adjusting to the light. The end of his bed soon came into view. The rays of sunshine coming in through the window illuminated the raised sheets. The boy smiled as he looked at the 2 extra mounds next to what he knew were his own feet. It seemed odd that there was enough room for 4 feet in such a small space, but there they were. As he inhaled the flowery scent again, TK turned his head to the side. His heart quickened as he looked at the face of the girl lying next to him. He looked over every aspect of her that remained uncovered by the sheets, trying to memorize every perfect detail. Her bare, slender shoulders had a slight sheen thanks to the early morning light. 3 dark freckles stood out, 2 on her left shoulder and a solitary one on the right. The 2 on her left seemed to be almost mocking TK. The larger, more centered one brought more attention to the area before it pulled one's eyes back to the next round spot. Small, and just at the base of her collarbone and neck, it appeared as though it was inviting him to look further, to pursue his desire to capture her beauty. While TK had never found the neck to be an overly attractive part of the human body, he did appreciate how it could showcase a person's skin, especially her skin. It was completely smooth and flawless. The closest thing to a blemish was the shadow her windpipe cast over a small portion of the skin. The contrast of her skin and hair always tempted TK to gently caress her neck, just to feel the smoothness he was now growing accustomed to enjoying. But he resisted for the moment. He didn't want to wake her. Instead, he focused on her deep brunette locks of hair. It was so fine and tame, unlike her brother's wild mop. The shoulder-length hair tickled his arm, which he had just realized was underneath the girl, supporting her head. Unable to reach any of her hair with his fingers, TK just enjoyed the silky sensation as it rustled lightly against his forearm. He smirked slightly as he thought about the length of it. It had only been a few months ago when TK had told her he wondered how her hair would look if it were longer. And even though she hadn't told him, he knew his curiosity was the reason that the girl's hair was now longer than it ever had been before. However, none of her features could compare to the beauty that her face projected. Even asleep, it was the image of perfection to TK. Her narrow chin with an ever-so-slight dimple in it. Her perfect aligned nose, which was the ideal size to not only stand out and look cute, but also to not detract from her other features. The shape of her lips, which always seemed to shine enticingly. Even her eyelids had a special quality to them, as though they were expressive curtains, ready to part and reveal a glorious stage behind them. The stage that were the pair of deep pink eyes TK loved so much. TK felt his smile widen as he let his head fall back. He felt like the most privileged teenager in the country. To be alive with the girl of his dreams next to him in bed, he couldn't imagine anything better in this or any other world. It had been an amazing set of circumstances that had led to this moment. The 2 of them being alone for the summer was something they had only dreamt about before, but it had finally happened. His mother was in France visiting her parents. His father was in America negotiating an international television deal. Her parents were in Kyoto visiting her brother, who was making several presentations on interworld relationships. TK's brother was touring the northern island with his band. Even their friends were absent. Davis and Ken were playing at a national soccer tournament. Cody had a new job on the other side of the city that was keeping him occupied. Yoli was busy touring universities, eager to find the perfect fit for her move in the spring. They were all alone, and that was all it took. That and several years of romantic tension bursting while they had been watching a movie on the couch. A soft noise outside the closed door suddenly caught TK's attention. It was the low noise of wings flapping. The boy chuckled to himself. They weren't completely alone after all. The first time Patamon had flown in while they had been having sex was quite hilarious in retrospect. Seeing his confused and terrified face was a bizarre experience that was only eclipsed by trying to explain to him exactly what they had been doing. TK knew Patamon would be the only one they would have to explain things to, though. In a week, the summer break would be over, their second year of high school would resume, and the rumors and gossip would spread like wildfire. So not only would they have to explain everything to their family and friends, there would be countless situations and conversations with classmates to deal with as well. But as the sound of a feline voice talking to Patamon began to rouse the girl next to him, TK sighed with contentment. None of it really mattered. They had each other, and for the time being that was enough. He would be able to get through anything with her. He turned his gaze back to her face as her eyes started to flutter open. After a moment, she realized where she was and who she was looking at. Her smile lit up, and her eyes dazzled, threatening to blind him. TK pulled her close to him and brought his lips to hers. It was a passionately gentle way to start the day. And it made him happy. Because he loved her, and he knew she loved him. That was all that mattered. The end.